everyone, it's P4L. In today's P4L review, we'll be taking a look at a pre-production sample of Fans Toys FT-18 Lupus, their version of the Decepticon Headmaster Weirdwolf, or Wolfwire, I guess what they're calling him in the Titans Returns line. In any case, it's kind of weird for me to be doing a review on this guy right now because it's a pre-production sample, but I think this guy's already out in retail. He just hit like today or maybe yesterday with some retailers, so I feel kind of weird about that. And I think Toy Dojo should actually have the retail version of this available by the time this review comes out. So I apologize for that, but I literally just got him a couple days ago. In any case, I think most of the stuff is going to be pretty much the same. Probably some minor fixes and tolerances, stuff like that, as with usual pre-production samples, but otherwise, I think this review will still be helpful in terms of transformation and so forth. So let's do a quick 360. And as you can see, he's the Headmaster, and he's yellow, and this kind of greenish metallic color. But he looks really, really nice. In robot mode, at least. I like his robot mode a lot. He has a little bit of gappiness here. I don't like how they designed this part. I think they could have hidden that internally. But I think they did it to give you a little bit of access to help you get the cockpit transformed. So I understand why they did it. I think they could have done it probably a little bit better than this, though. So robot mode, he looks very much like the Weirdwolf that you've kind of known from the anime. More than the, I guess, more than the US version of Weirdwolf. He does look quite nice. I think, overall, I think he's pretty clean. He does come with a couple of weapons. So he comes with this very nice metallic painted sword, which can actually swivel at the hilt because it makes up his wolf tail, his alt mode tail. But it also is segmented in several places so that you can bend it as a tail. Or maybe kind of like a whip-like sword, if you will. It really is up to you how you'd like to display it, but it does feature those kind of MP-style tabs that we see from both the official and most of the third-party. Pretty nicely detailed and very nice looking. I do like the kind of flaky silver that they use in the paint. The other weapon you get is his blaster. One molded color, I guess. I think it might be painted or maybe not. It might just be a metallic flake in the plastic itself, but it looks quite nice. Has some details here. Again, the MP style handle, which goes into his hands as you saw before. And lastly, I wanted to show off this guy's alternate face. So let's just take off his head real quick, as he's a Headmaster. You can see the real difference here is just that he has a chin. Sometimes he does have a chin and sometimes he doesn't. An easy way to transform it or replace it is just to kind of come behind here. I like using a tool just because the pegs are a little tiny. And plug that back in. And then you have a different chinnier version of Monzo and the Headmaster. I don't remember what they're actually calling it for Fans Toys, but the original character was Monzo for the Headmaster, or Transtector, or whatever it's called. In any case, he looks very nice. Let's do really quick some comparisons. I'd like to start off with that first before we go into articulation and so forth. Here he is with MP10, and you can see they're pretty close in height. The Headmasters are usually quite tall, kind of prime level in height. Not quite, but very close. And then let's bring in his Titans Return Wolfwire version. Very tiny, about half the size. Some third-party versions. Small, medium, large. So here is it Unique Toys? I forget which one. I think it's Unique Toys version. They're kind of legend scale. Then we have Quadruple U, Vans Project's Function X line. Really still like this figure a lot. And then again, Vans Toys versions. And to compare him with another third-party Headmaster, most people have been comparing him with Cupola or Make Toys Chrome Dome. I went ahead and compared him with their Hardhead, which I don't remember his third-party name. Alright. So he fits pretty well in line. The aesthetics are kind of more on the plain side. Again, I think they're going very much for anime accuracy, so that's kind of more plain, kind of in line with the new Masterpiece styling as well. More cartoony, less surface details, more kind of blockiness. I think this is a pretty good fit, though, in terms of on your shelf with Masterpiece line. It's not too plain, it's not too detailed. It does have some nice paint applications, and again, the plastic, as you come to expect from Fans Toys, is very nice, very hefty. Lots of die cast, like in the foot here. This whole section, I think, is die cast. I think his chest might be die cast. Could be wrong here. Yeah, this part of the chest is die cast, and you can see his painted specs here. It doesn't actually work, which is kind of a bummer. I really wish they had found a way to do that. Nobody's done that yet on the third party. The plastic also has metallic flake. Even this yellow is a really rich yellow, which looks nice. It does match fairly closely with the gold painted or yellow painted die cast parts. And then you got this nice silver here. As far as the wolf head, you can actually turn it around. Based on like this kind of indentation, I think it's supposed to go like this, and it makes it a little bit cleaner. But it's up to you. Articulation wise, his head is on this kind of swiveling platform. Just plugs into the square here. It's a little looser than I would like, but again, pre-production sample. But he can go, I don't know if he can go all the way around, but it feels like he should be able to. And but yeah, I'm not gonna try to force it. He can look up and down because of the swivel on this neck joint. It does have ratcheted shoulders that go all the way around. This is one of the bummers of this figure's articulation. It only goes up this far, which is, I think, too limited, in my opinion, for a figure, especially of this scale. Bicep swivel is very nice. Double jointed elbows, but really, you mostly only get about one elbow's worth of bend, even though you have two joints. He does have wrist swivel, and his fingers are traditional Fans Toy style with a ball joint at the base of the thumb. One point of articulation there, and each individual finger is individually articulated at the base with one pin, and then one other point of articulation there. Very nice, and the MPTL slotted hands for his weapons. Going to the middle of his body, he does have a waist articulation. It's a friction joint. Be careful if you go too far, because you might have to clear the head out of the way so you don't scratch up the doggy nose, which looks like he's sniffing his own butt right now, which wolves and dogs kind of do, canines do. He does have hip flaps, not flip-flops, on the front and side. Nicely ratcheted, even though his legs are quite hefty. They're not going anywhere. Friction joints going out to the side, so no worries about weird A stances that a lot of people like to complain about. Thigh swivel. So it looks like he has a swivel here, but it doesn't actually feel like it. And then he has a double jointed knee, which gives him quite a bit of range. His kneecaps do move, mostly for transformation. Coming down to the foot, he does have this part that can kind of get out of the way, so you can bend his ankle forward and back. It also can tilt in kind of like this, which is kind of odd, and has a slight ankle tilt going in and out. Very little, not a lot, but enough to get the poses that you'd probably like, non-awkward poses that you'd like. The only thing I don't like about this figure on the leg side is that these flaps, at least on this pre-production sample, don't tab in anymore. They're just flaps, they're open, and they don't actually secure in, so you can actually push it too far. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm guessing that since this molded cut out pieces here, I'm guessing on the final one there's going to be a tab that actually kind of locks in there. But I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing. But yeah, that's really it for him and his robot mode. Very, very heavy. I think he's close to 2 pounds, maybe 1.75 pounds. Looking at Monzo really quickly. Transforming him, we'll just transform him real quick so we can do his robot mode. He doesn't have any articulation on the head, which is weird. I would have expected some amount of articulation, even if it's just a swivel. But nope, nothing. Ball jointed shoulders. He has about as much range in the shoulders as his main body. Elbow joint. Ball jointed hips. Kind of weird double jointed knees, so he can transform like that. Or kick himself in the face like that. Can't go too far out wide. And then he has ball jointed ankles, so you can get a little bit of tilting and forward and back. He's also really nicely painted, and even his small, tiny face has red and yellow eyes that are fairly clean for how small this is. So pretty impressed with him. Let's put him off to the side for now. We'll go ahead and get into transformation. Transformation on this guy is pretty cool, pretty simple. The legs do have some stuff going on there that is pretty interesting. And then there's one aspect that I thought was kind of odd. In any case, let's start with the hands. I'm gonna open this up. You're gonna ball up the fist, thusly. And then you're gonna want the palm to be facing up. And push this out. Before you go all the way through, you're gonna wanna reach in here, there's a little tab, pull this out. Okay? Then once you get the fist rotated in, and this tab close, you can fold that back up, and that just rests into place there, and that's the paw. While we're here, we'll go ahead and do this one piece, which is the piece I thought was funny. You just push this back, and you get like a 1 millimeter, couple millimeters of movement back. I found this to be completely unnecessary, but they did it, so I guess good for them. I would have liked to have seen the improvements elsewhere. You can open this up, get the fist rotated. Before we go all the way through, make sure to reach in there and get that piece flipped out, tab it close, push this piece out, and then we're good there. For the wolf head, let's go ahead and do that now. Bring that back, and you'll see that square tab will go into the neck. So make sure this is squared off. I wish this tab was a little bit longer, and again, pre-production sample, so it might be a little bit later, but as of right now, I wish it could be a little bit longer. You can see the makings of his alt mode coming together. This is where the cockpit, you can kind of help yourself to doing that. I find it easier just to grab the cockpit lid open and then pulling it up. So on all these samples, it doesn't lock into place. I'm imagining that it will lock into place properly on the final retail version that you may already have, but right now it doesn't. And again, that opening area there, that kind of bothers me. Coming to the lower body, first thing we'll do is flip this paw down. And this could have been flipped down for additional heel support if you need to in robot mode, but I believe it's supposed to be flipped up for robot mode. Just pull the wolf legs down. It's a double joint here, so make sure you do that. Next thing we'll do is go ahead and flip this side piece, which finishes out the leg. Open up this piece here, and while you're here, this part, which is a filler piece for the inner leg, just push that closed like that. And then this whole piece hinges all the way around. It reminds me of their Willis, their Hound, some of the transformation that they did for the wheel in the front part of the car there, the Jeep. And from here, you're just gonna fold this up like so. You gotta be careful because it's a double jointed knee. You want to make sure that you make use of both knee joints like this so that it sits as close as possible to the upper body. You're gonna peg this in, and then again with this sample here, it looks like it's not fully complete. Looks like this tab is supposed to go in to the main body to solidify it right there, but it doesn't reach. So unless I'm doing something wrong, I think that's just something they're gonna improve later. Just fold up the leg, bring it down like so, and then you have his hind leg. Go ahead and flip down his kneecap to form the rest of his butt. And then we'll repeat on this side. Bring the leg down, paw down, bring this closed, open this up, flip this in, flip this all the way around, and then again making use of both knee joints to get as close to the upper body as possible. Flip this down, peg this in closed, and then if it were working or complete, those would tab in, I believe. You can, at this point, put the tail in. It just has a groove section on the inside of the knees. And then you just peg those two halves together. And there we have Lupus in alt mode. Now we'll go over his kind of details. So right now, he is kind of in a sitting position, but he does have a lot of nice articulation. Let's start with the head real quick. We've already transformed him. Let's go ahead and put him in the cockpit. Bring this up. Oh, and his cockpit does have a set of controls that flip up and down. So if you flip it up, it'll give you a little bit of extra room to deal with. And he's kind of difficult to get in here, but you'll definitely be able to manage better when you're not trying to do it on camera, I think. There we go. And see, you can see it stays a little bit better with him inside. But overall, I think the wolf mode looks okay. The biggest complaint I have is his big, blocky butt, which is kind of like the toy and kind of like the animation, but I think they could have made it a little bit more svelte. I think I would have preferred that. Again, they're going for anime accuracy, which even means a little bit blockier, and that's their decision. I'm not going to harp on it too much, kind of like I do with the official Masterpiece line. It's a change that it's a design choice they're making. I'm not going to be able to change that. But yeah, let's do a quick 360. The articulation in the arms and the front legs and back legs is really nice. Again, the wolf tail can curve up. His wolf head, again, if it pegged in a little bit better, it'd be nicer. It does have a bend up here, so you can howl at the moon. Nice opening of the jaw. So you can swivel here, bend up this way, swivel here, and if you want, you can actually flip this around, and then he'll go down. So just, or to the side, I suppose, whichever way you want the bend to go. You can rotate it to your needs. Nice silver paint, nice red eyes. Again, nice menacing teeth. The shoulders are front legs, so the same articulation. You don't get a lot of outward motion because it's so close to the body, but you still get that bicep joint. You lose part of the articulation, I think. Oh, maybe not. I felt like you lost a little bit of articulation with the elbow, but that might be up. Yeah, see, I think you're running to the fist here, so you don't get as much as you did in robot mode. You do have the pivot here for the ankle, for the paw, and then you actually have an ankle tilt going towards the inside, and it's not gappy, which is nice. Coming to the middle, if this all tabs in like it's supposed to, I don't think you're going to have any kind of waist articulation, but you can get a little bit just because right now it's not tapped in. The back, he does have a friction joint, and he can actually swivel out a little bit, like so. He has double joints here at what would be, I guess, kind of his elbow. And then again, the same kind of joints as his front paw, forward and back, and then the ankle tilt. We talked about the tail. Again, the tail is on a swivel at the base. Just be careful. Can tilt in various directions. So that's it for articulation. He does have storage underneath for his gun. Oops, sorry about that. He does have storage underneath his body. This piece right here, you can see has ridges. It corresponds to this piece in, I guess, the clip. Just spread out his legs a little bit, or you can just jam it in, I suppose. And that closes up. So he does have weapon storage, but it looks like a, yeah, you know, hashtag wolf penis. If we can get that trending, that'd be awesome, but I don't think we're going to get hashtag wolf penis trending anytime soon. Weird choice. I think it would have been better to have some kind of storage up here They probably could have accommodated a very similar thing with this gap here, but they didn't. They went with the underside. So aside from, my complaints about the cockpit, which I'm sure they're going to have fixed, my only real complaint is the fact that these are not done, these tabs. I imagine they will be, but even then there's going to be a lot of gappiness here and on the sides. And then my other complaint that I talked about before was just kind of the big rectangular back. Really quick comparison between all the Weirdwolves or wolf wires. So again, Vans Toys, obviously, we have the Titans Returns, Vans Project, and Unique Toys. I believe, yeah, they're Unique Toys Palm Scale or something like that, Palm Series. So obviously his looks the most accurate. His wolf mode always looked kind of weird to me. His kind of almost like a rhino nose. Vans Projects, they always did their own kind of style, unique take, and it was also kind of back in the day where, less and less third parties wanted to make their figures look exactly like they should in the cartoon, just for fear of, intellectual property and stuff like that. They didn't want to get sued and stuff, but, these days they don't even care. They want to make it as accurate as possible. So definitely the most cool looking, I guess, in alt mode as far as accuracy goes to the series, but I kind of prefer some of the others. It doesn't have as much articulation as, say, as these figures here. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed back into robot mode and finish off with final thoughts. Split the leg, get this out, straighten out the sword. That's the easy part. We're going to go ahead and separate this and then pull the legs down. This should auto kind of transform the kneecaps, but you can kind of get this position, flip these up and out of the way. Just scooch this up a bit. From here, open up this piece. It's really tight, so I always use my spudger to kind of release it. Let's just do both sides, like that. And then we're going to rotate like so. And while we're here, let's go ahead and get these leg fillers in place. There we go. Close these flaps up. And then this is going to be the toe, right? So just rotate this forward. Flip this around to fill in the outside of the heel or foot. Collapse this. And again, flip this up or keep it down, whichever you want. I'm going to flip it up. Same thing on this side. Come on, there we go. Lower body's done. Upper body, we'll go ahead and collapse his chest, flip his wolf head in. I'm going to go like this. Arms down. Move these, the 1 or 2 millimeters they actually move to fill in that gap. Open up. Open up this panel here. Remember to flip this open, this piece open. Flip this out. Now push this all the way in, straighten out the paw, and close this back up. Got one fist done. Same thing on the other side. Flip this open, get this around, push this in, get it closed, close that, rotate this, and we're done with him in robot mode except for Monzo. Once again, Monzo is just going to have his legs, arms straightened down. There's that tab at the kind of knee joint. Close that up. Flip his legs all the way down. There's no tabbing connection there, which I think I would have liked, but it's solid enough where you definitely don't need it. You just plug him in. And again, you can make do with his weapons as you'd like. But as far as final thoughts on this guy, I do like this robot mode, and again, if the anime accurate alt mode works for you, I think this guy definitely can deserve a place in your collection. I don't absolutely love him. Of the 3 samples I currently have between him, Sovereign, and Grinder, he's probably my least favorite this, I think, would have been nice to have something secured again once they fix this, and if they had filled this in, I think it would have been a little bit better. He's definitely a good figure. He's not a great figure. But that's kind of honestly what I've come to expect from Fans Toys with their non-dinos. I think their dinos have always been really, really solid, and the rest of their stuff has always been kind of middle of the road for me. So I would recommend that you get him if you're a really big Headmasters fan or you're a big Fans Toys fan, but I wouldn't feel the need for me personally to go out and rush and buy him. I'm hoping that another company will come out and do more of him, and I think if Takara eventually gets to these guys, I think they'll actually find a way, given what they're doing with the engineering so forth, with the later figures, they'll get a way to actually get the Headmaster feature working. Without that, it feels kind of half-assed for a Headmaster, right? And nobody's done that yet. So these guys are playing to the standard that's been set, which I think is a fairly fair, low, medium bar. But I'd like to see a third-party company come out and actually get a working Headmaster function. And I think that would raise the level. And that's kind of what I would like Fans Toys to do, given their status as kind of one of the biggest and most popular third-party companies. I think this is a little safe. But yeah, he's a good figure. He's not outstanding, I would say. So if you have any questions or comments on this, let me know in the comment section as usual. If you like to keep up to date with my news and reviews, go ahead and follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and obviously on YouTube. If you want to add this guy to your collection, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below, and he is probably in stock by the time you're watching this. Alright? Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good one.